Welcome back to Outdoors with Larry Ray on ESPN 790 AM. Brought to you proudly by the Tennessee Wildlife and Resources Agency.
Hey, good Saturday morning. Welcome back to Outdoors with Larry Ray on this May 23rd, which in 1943 on this date was a very important date in my life. I was born. All right, try to figure that one out. So anyway, I don't know. I don't know. Shelby McCall's our show producer. I've had about 5 show producers in our 19 years on the air. Shelby is undoubtedly at the top of doing this. I don't think I've ever had a show on my birthday.
Never?
Never.
Never.
Of course, not that I can remember. Of course, I can only remember 2 years.
Oh.
So I don't know how far back, or anything. But Shelby's important and also important. This is 4th Saturday, which means Bill Cooksey of Sportsman's Outreach Coordinator for Vanishing Paradise and National Wildlife Federation. And Bill, it's fast. We're rolling, aren't we? So
we are.
Is that unusual? We're usually really dragging, aren't we? So I like Bill when he laughs. He's got a good laugh. People got certain kind of laughs. Bill's got a good laugh, and of course another guy that's got a good laugh is Ron Wong, who is our Mid-South fishing guru. 2-time winner of the St. Jude Bass Classic, which I hate to mention would have been today. I mean, Sunday, tomorrow at Sardis Lake, but the first time in 47 years. Something called COVID-19 has not only knocked a lot of people out of jobs and things along that line, but the longest running charity bass fishing tournament in the nation will not be held tomorrow. So all you folks at St. Jude Bass Classic, we miss you, buddies, and everything. We got a guy on the line right now, a young man who part of the Bass Master Elite Series. I think 2018 he came in, 2019, 2018, 28 years old, just a pup, talking about that. But also a guide down on Lake Okeechobee in Florida where he lives. And I've fished on Okeechobee twice. And it is a remarkable place to visit. Had a chance to. There's a famous guy that fished on that lake. Does our guest know his name?
Oh, there's a couple of them that I know of. And thanks for having me on, Larry.
Well,
Roland Martin would be one of them.
I'm glad you started with Roland. He would be very disappointed. Yeah.
Tom Mann Jr.
Yes.
Is a guide here now.
And then there's also now some guy named Kyle Monti, right?
Yes, sir. Hopefully in 50, 60 years, people are talking about me the same way.
Well, you don't want to wait 50 or 60 years now, Kyle. So let's
I don't know if I'll be able to fish in 50 or 60 years.
Yeah.
But I'm going.
Yeah, no. You're anybody that you're still playing the guitar?
Yes, sir. I picked that up when I was, 11 years old. My grandpa kind of taught me the basics.
Well, just keep playing that guitar. You'll have a life to back out on. But, hey, I wanted to talk to Emily Hartley. She helps us with guests. And Ron Wong, you're going to really enjoy this, and Bill, you too. As we talked about, Kyle is a guide on Lake Okeechobee where he lives and has grown up in that area there. And
Larry, real quick, Okeechobee is right at the heart of all these conservation issues in Florida we were just talking about. So I'm interested on every front.
Well, you got it there, and Kyle's going to talk about it because he lives on the lake, and at the same time, normally he would be fishing some professionally, but he also has his guide service. And Kyle, I know that you stirred up a lot of interest at BASS. When I asked Emily Hartley, you got a story to tell? She said, no, but Kyle Monti's got a story to tell. So I said, let's get him on Outdoors with Larry Ray because you had a rather special guest in your boat not too long ago. Talk about that, Kyle.
Yeah, so when we found out that the Zufalo event was going to be postponed, it opened up some dates for me that I was, obviously I didn't book any trips. So I had 3 weeks open and didn't get any phone calls for the first week. And then the second week, a buddy of mine calls me and says, hey, there's a 2-boat trip I need you to take out of Lakeport, which is about 30 minutes from me.
Yeah.
He said, it's going to be 4 people and the guy wants you to take them out. You may do shiners. I don't know. Reach out to this other guide. And when I called him, he said, yeah, let's just meet there at 6 o'clock, and we'll get it settled from there. I said, do we need shiner rods? Or he said, just bring everything.
Yeah, okay.
So I brought shiner fishing staff. I brought all the fishing stuff that showed up. And he tells me that Randy's never on time. And I was wondering, he's calling this guy by his first name. Must be someone he thinks all the time. About 20 minutes later, right on time, Randy Moss steps out of his black Tahoe with his family, and I'm kind of taken back. Like, this is the Randy you're talking about. We're going to be fishing with this guy today. So Randy Moss, NFL Hall of Fame wide receiver. Got to spend a day with him.
So all of a sudden, Randy Moss shows up with you, and all you knew was Randy, but you recognized him as Randy Moss. You knew that, right? I mean, he wasn't in disguise
right
or anything. He didn't have on a mustache and a floppy hat or anything, trying to disguise himself. So you said, that's Randy Moss.
Oh, absolutely. He just had on shorts and a regular T-shirt, and you could tell, man, he's built like he could still play today.
Yeah. Okay. So are you scrambling your boat to try to make it look better? I mean, you got Randy Moss coming in your boat.
That was the thing. Randy wanted to go with the other guide first thing in the morning and fish some shiners with his daughter, but he doesn't really shiner fish. So he was kind of casting a worm around while they did that. And he said about 10:30, 11 o'clock, he said, I want to get in the boat with you. We'll go have lunch. He said, I want to get in the boat with you, and I want to do some serious, some flipping. I want to learn how to flip. I want to learn how to, how you guys fish all this grass. And I was like, absolutely. We fished in the morning. We were within sight of each other, which was pretty cool. But, then he just came to me and said, look, I want you to teach me everything you know. I'm going to get in your boat. Let's go. And I was all for it. We fished from, 11:30, 12 o'clock until dark.
Till dark.
We wanted to go all day.
And all day. And tell us about lunch, because I understand no one in the restaurant knew that you were sitting with Randy Moss.
Right. So we were at the restaurant in Lakeport. I forget the name of it, but it's a small town, small. There's only one restaurant in the whole town. Yeah. And we get in there at lunchtime. So, they got their normal rush going on. They had about 10 people in there. And
there you are.
We're sitting at this big table. He's sitting at the end of the table facing the door where you walk in. The guy sitting next to us overhears us talking about fishing. And he chimes into the conversation, but never once acted like he recognized who Randy Moss was. He's telling us, yeah, if you guys want to catch these crappie, I know where, he's chiming in about fishing with Randy Moss. And Randy's looking at me, and we're looking around, and he's like, later on in the day, he said, that's kind of nice for me to be able to go to places like that. He likes to be away from I don't know, the city life, I guess.
Well, sure.
From a small town as well.
Yeah.
Grew up pretty humbly, and that's how he likes to live.
Well, he spent 14 seasons in the NFL and caught in 2012. I see where he caught retiring in 2012. He ended up with 156 touchdowns. And, of course, he did play for the Tennessee Titans at one time. Of course, he played for a lot of teams for a lot of times. But for you personally, this would not have happened if you'd been fishing, right?
Correct. Yeah, we would have been, I believe, at Lake Eufaula.
Yeah. So you, in the midst of all the pandemic, you get to fish with Randy Moss. And how many pros out there can say that? Okay. So
I think there's a couple, but not very many. We were going over some of the pros he's fished with before, charity events and whatnot.
Yeah. He said he's fished with Ott Defoe, right? I mean,
yes, sir.
Yeah. Well, if he's fished with Ott, we know Ott real well here and everything. But well, I tell you what, we wanted to get Kyle on not only to talk about that, but Kyle, you've come up through the ranks, buddy. You're 28 right now. You've been on the elite for the last couple of years. You cut your teeth with the FLW. Talk about that as a dream come true, and look, what has this meant for you? The layoff, and what do you want? I know, looking back at some of your stuff, I was looking at 24 tournaments you fished in, been in the money 17 times. That's not bad. 2 top 10s, 2 top 20s, and 6 top 30s. So you're close, aren't you?
Yeah, what I've got to do a better job of is figuring out, if I can't win, how to go finish 20th place. I mean, and Rick Klein talks on this recently in an article with Bassmaster on, the fishermen are so much better nowadays that, he was saying he's having to relearn his own fishing style because you have to target big fish in order to make a top 10, top 12. And what that does is put you at a higher risk of finishing, 80th,
yes,
75th. And so what I have to do is a better job at cutting those 80th and 75th places out of there and scrapping together a cut 20, 25th, something like that when it's tough,
Well,
for me,
go ahead.
For me, it started, as soon as I was old enough to watch TV and remember anything. I mean, I learned how to cast a bait caster before I could tie my shoe.
Come on.
And it was
Come on.
bad. What's that?
Come on now. You must tie your shoes funny.
Shoes.
Okay.
I couldn't tie my shoes. That was a true story. We were out there, and I'm casting a bait caster for the first time, and I looked down, my shoes untied. I had to get my grandpa to help me because I didn't know how to do that.
You hear that, Ron Wong? Is that not the way to start?
So for me, it's been my whole life. I'm 28, but you look at 25 years invested in it. Every day that I could watch it. And if I couldn't be out in the water, I was watching on TV. This was before you could get on the internet and find anything in the world.
Yeah,
I was collecting Bassmaster magazines, and I was following these guys. And I couldn't learn how to fish outside of the state of Florida physically, but I tried to learn as much as I could on paper. That way, when I was jumping into college tournaments and stuff, I had somewhat of an idea, but nothing replaces experience, and you guys know that.
Well, these
getting
guys
the experience to travel and see how these other bodies of water fish. But
you won the FLW college fishing in 2012. So you were a young fellow at that time, and so where'd you go to college?
I went to college right here where I live in Okeechobee. There's a branch of Indian River State College.
That's right.
That I could take.
Yeah.
The first year I could take all my classes right here. So I started the bass fishing team, and that was the very first tournament we ever fished.
You hear that, folks? So you can is things to do this. Ron Wong's been at this a long time, Ron, and I know you hear Kyle, and we don't have but a couple of minutes more. Ron has covered this event for a lot of things a lot of time. The young guy acts like he really knows what he wants to do, and that's part of it, isn't it, Ron?
Yes, it is. And I mean, and you see so many anglers that are coming up through the college ranks now.
Yeah. That
are fishing in the elites, and more will be coming here very soon that are trying to qualify in the BASS Open. So, that's so good, and I appreciate what Kyle does to encourage youngsters, people in junior high and high school.
Yeah.
Go to college, get that education, and go to a college that offers a scholarship for bass fishing.
There is.
What a great way to go to school. I wish I could have went to school that way.
Well,
yeah. And if you don't, we always tell younger people is, don't let excuses get in your way. I mean, there's always a bunch of people that are going to tell you, well, you can't do that because of where you came from. And that's just not true. I mean,
it's not.
No matter what it is, if it's fishing, football, science, whatever you pick it and stick to it and do it 100%, and it'll work itself out.
All right,
I truly believe in that.
Before we let you go, tell our listeners, as Ron always says, you got some good sponsors. Who's some of your sponsors?
Yeah, so this year I'm with Skeeter, Yamaha again.
There you go.
Power Pole, H.E. Hill Foundation, Steve Broughton with Broughton Construction. Denali Rods, I've been with them for 7 years now.
Okay.
Back to pre-college. So, I mean, if you guys are listening, you want to go on a guide trip on Lake Okeechobee, you can look me up. It's KyleMontiFishing.com, or on any of my social media pages. Just reach out and we'll get it set up.
Go down there and see Kyle. Kyle, thank you, buddy. And you and Randy Moss are pen pals now, I know, and everything. So,
yes, sir.
Hey, thank you, buddy. And we'll talk to you down the road. We got your number. Good luck once they start fishing again, okay?
Thank you, sir. I need it.
All right. Thank you, Kyle. Let's take a break. Come right back. And this next guy, pretty good. I think you might recognize him, Ronnie Capps. We'll be right back with Outdoors with Larry Ray.